Hey gamers, this is my compilation video for all the advanced Speedberries and Silverberries for Spring Collab 2020. Again, this is the advanced hub. The Silverberries are all the Deathless berries, so I'm finishing all of the levels Deathless. And then the Gold Speedberries, basically all the levels if you don't know already. They have a built-in time trial mode. There's Bronze, Silver, and Gold. And the fastest time is awards you the Gold Speedberry, so I'm getting the fastest time in each of the levels. I'm basically beating the fastest preset time on each of the levels. So similar to last time, I'm going to be voicing over this with commentary. The reasoning for this is one, it's a nice way to distinguish my videos from others people. I can include some of my own commentary and just, have a reason to watch my video. And the second reason for doing this is that a lot of the time when I'm grinding, I'm listening to other things in the background, or I'm in a Discord call with other people, and it's a lot easier to just be able to, remove the audio and add something in post rather than having to worry about like DMCA or maybe needing to like, remove random parts of conversations and stuff if like there's personal info or whatever. But yeah, other than that, we'll jump right into it this time again. Unlike last time, actually. There was only one level where I had to split the silver and gold berries, so the commentary will continue through the whole video besides the very end where I'm showing off the rainbow berry. So there will be no cuts like that or anything. You should just be able to follow it all the way through. And yeah, with that, we'll get started. Alright, so we're starting out with above Celeste Peak. It's a really long level. There's not much to it otherwise. A lot of this was kind of playing the level as intended. The main problem with this level was actually performance issues. There are massive screens filled with spinners in this level, a lot of wind, a lot of like trigger changes, and this level was having a lot of lag spikes. It was really frustrating to play. And so really this level, don't have a whole lot to say about it, so I'll just kind of like go into FAQ and stuff immediately. So this hub took me about a bit longer than the last one, like 7 or 8 days, I think. A part of that is because I really do not like this hub. There's a lot of really gimmicky levels that I'm just not a fan of at all. Some of the, I don't know, just like a lot of levels get to be really long and really bloated. Like in my opinion, this level is way too big. But yeah, it just, like, when I started this grind out, I was doing like one level a day, and I started out with levels I liked by far the least, and just got those out of the way. And then over time it got more and more manageable, and on my last day I was able to finish 5. So it was definitely a good strategy. I'm glad I did it that way. If I had some of the levels, like those levels last, I might have given up. I kind of doubt it though. This wasn't that bad. Compared to intermediate, I would say this was a fair bit harder. This has been the hardest hub yet, both in terms of like, obviously Deathless squares get harder, but also some of the speedberries in this hub were surprisingly really difficult. I'll point them out when we get to them, but this one on the other hand is a pretty easy speedberry. Main thing again, performance issues, killed so many runs, lag spikes would like cause me so many times, I think it happened 3 or 4 times on a screen, I got some sort of like frame drop or like lag spike and I would be falling all the way to the bottom or just dying. Very fun. But yeah, beyond that, I'm playing this fairly casually. Like I labbed, the only thing I super labbed was this last screen. That's usually my approach to learning these sorts of things, is I always start by learning the last screen first, because it's the screen I want to be most familiar with, because whenever I'm like getting into the screen, I want to be nervous, so I want to, have it committed to muscle memory, know what I'm doing. You can skip directly into the gems here, it saves like a second, but it's just not really worth it. I didn't need the time save, and you can skip going all the way to the bottom and grab this bubble and just shoot right up, and you're good to go. So yeah, made it with 8 seconds to spare, taking it pretty casually, so pretty easy. The hardest part is not dying. Satellite, this is one of my favorite levels. It's pretty simple, but this one is a lot of fun. I put up a proper IL of this, and as a result, I actually did this Speedberry like 6 months ago or something, a long time ago, so I don't remember a ton about like the intricate details of running this level, but it's really fun. You can check out my IL, or, as always, I say mine, but there are many people who have done ILs of this. If you need additional strats or whatever, feel free to check them out. But yeah, a lot of wall bounces, all that sort of stuff. After this, I do plan on trying Expert. Expert is actually my favorite hub in the collab casually. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I've already done quite a few in that hub actually. I've done 4 levels, which is about, I think it's like a third or maybe a quarter of the hub. It's a shorter hub than the other ones, so. But yeah, I've already done 4 of them. I'm going to try to get the really infamous levels out of the way in Expert, and I should be good to go from there. Yeah, Satellite all done. Not a whole lot to say about it. Northern Lights, Super Dash level. This one is a little bit tricky. Usually the short levels are fairly easy because you can just kind of like, you know, figure them out and just play fast. Like it doesn't take a long time to learn, but you know, it's a whole new game mechanic I had to learn here. So that spring skip there is kind of weird. You want to buffer a dash into the spring and it gets you higher up, and then you kind of need to wiggle into the gem. That's the hardest part of the level. The rest of this is just kind of like not messing up and moving forward. There is actually a demo you can do at the very end that will put you like, I'll point it out in a second. The demo is like right here to the right of this gem. This will actually put you directly into the next screen and will save you like 2 or 3 seconds on the goldberry timer, but there's no setup. So if you really need a time save, you can maybe go for that demo, but I wouldn't recommend it. Just play the level. I got it by a little bit. Wasn't terrible. Crimson Knights, a level I almost really enjoy, is ruined by the fourth screen though. The fourth screen is one of the most frustrating things in this entire grind. I ended up finding a pretty consistent strat for it, and this level is a whole lot of cycles by the way. At least this first screen is quite a bit of cycles you have to wait for. But yeah, that fourth screen is terrible, mainly because of Seekers. They're unpredictable, sucky, you know why Seekers are bad, so... Yeah, as always, I'm doing pretty simple strats on these. A lot of the time while labbing, I would find like, you know, crazy strats or skips or whatever, and it's just like, I don't need to do this for the gold Speedberry. If I enjoy a level enough, I'll put up a proper IL of it, but a lot of the time it's just like, you know, I just want to get the berry and dip. So yeah, welcome to screen 4. First of all, you have to wait for this bumper. It's really annoying to die to this, like wait 5 seconds and then it's die. So the setup I do here is I actually, in that previous screen, I would hyper into a table and then updash, and then I would stop right in front of the barrier there and just wait for the Seeker to move, and then buffering 2 updashes after a super onto that moving upwards platform would line up a Seeker bounce every single time. You would kind of just have to watch the video again and just like follow what I did, but it was super consistent and super nice, but that screen is still poop. It is bad. Compared to the rest of the level, it is very out of place and stupid. But this one isn't too bad. This is probably one of the harder ones, but not terrible. Space Garden, another level I did like 6 months ago and put up an IL for. Not a lot to this. One of many levels that's just kind of hypers and wall bounces, wave dashes and wall bounces. So this upcoming screen, I believe, yeah, this screen. So if you really want to, you can check the tasks. You can actually skip getting this switch and go right underneath the spiky block, but it's mad stupid. You don't need to time save. But it's just a novel thing. I don't have a whole lot else to mention here. In terms of like hours, I think this took me like, as a whole, 30 to 35 or something hours probably. It was longer than and it had more levels. The level that took me the longest was Dreamy Bluffs, and we'll talk about that when we get to it, but that took me about 6 hours, 6.5 hours. That is by far the hardest golden Speedberry I've gotten so far, to the point it feels like an oversight. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. That's quite a bit later on. Advanced Hub has 20 levels. Despite that, this is actually shorter than the intermediate video, but that's mostly because I managed to get all of these silvers with the golds, with the exception of one level where it's literally impossible to do so. Rhythm Realm. Not a fan of this level at all. I'm of the opinion that you could make any level with like the main gimmick being cassette blocks, and no matter like how well made it was, I would not like it. It's just one of those gimmicks like Dashless where it's just like I just don't enjoy it. Just waiting around isn't fun. There's often not a lot of room for like creativity or labbing. So one thing about this level, though, I'm not sure of the exact lore or reasoning behind it, but I believe during playtesting, like these these dev times for these Speedberries, they were came up with in playtesting by speedrunners. Like often, you know, they would grind screens, create a sum of best, and then they would determine a gold time from there. For this level, I believe they either didn't have people to do it or they just ran out of time. So you have like a minute of leniency on this level. So yeah, the silver on this level is, I mean, the goldberry on this level is like beyond free. If you do a silver clear on this level, you should be getting the gold speedberry. So if you're already going for silvers, you might as well just pick up the gold speedberry, I guess. But yeah, I tried very, very little on this level. Like the combination of not really liking the gimmick and knowing I had a leniency window of like a minute was like, okay, cool, time to let's play. So this run is what we got. I actually missed a cycle here. I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna wait. Nothing super difficult. Not much to talk about either, besides that fun fact. Just kind of do the level. Yeah, this is one of the levels I did first, because it was like, you know, I just don't enjoy this. Let's do it early. No offense to the creator or anything. They've made a lot of maps I actually enjoy. Like I think they made the CC sides. I'm a big fan. Shoutouts. But cassette map, not it, Chief. For me, at least. Lucid Caverns. This is a really cool map. This is mad fun, actually. It's really short, though. Speedberry's pretty easy. This is another level where you just kind of like play intended strats, but don't ever really stop or slow down, and you get to goldberry pretty easily. Drop a hyper here, loses like a second, but didn't matter really. This is one of the levels I did last, actually. I saved some of the shorter levels for last, because generally, the way that golds work, if it's longer than like 2 minutes, usually it's pretty easy. If it's shorter than like 40 seconds, usually it's pretty easy. Like 1 minute to 40 seconds, usually those are easier. The really dangerous speedberries are the ones that are in the 130 range, like 130, 145. Those are the ones that can get really rough. It depends, but yeah. Yeah, again, pretty whatever run. Didn't try too hard on it and got it by about a second with a second long mistake. No problem. The climb. This level, I like it. It's pretty neat. It's unique for sure. So the gimmick with this is that neutrals are disabled, and it's kind of like an exploration map. There's a lot of places where you can't like climb jump at all, so you have to kind of navigate around, do reverse supers and stuff to get up geometry. The timing on this is pretty lenient. That said, this one was kind of difficult. This is like a really frustrating level because there's like not any spikes or anything to my knowledge. So it's kind of like getting over it or whatever. Where it's like if you make a mistake, it's just like there was like not a threat in front of me really, and yet it's my fault that I messed up. Like I dropped a super or whatever, or dropped a wall bounce, and I'm plummeting all the way down, and I must now reset and think about my life. That said, pretty fun level. Some neat movement. I might IL this at some point, but you know, there's a lot of those, and I want to move on and do expert and stuff. So, not sure if that's a skip there or if that's just the intended route, but yeah, up left demo makes it a lot easier. Towards the end here is definitely a skip. This isn't necessary to my knowledge, but this saves a ton of time, but it is quite hard. So you need to do like a max jump, max leniency wall bounce basically. And if that works, you can wall jump up the side and get to the end, and it's a really big skip. Got me the Speedberry by like 12 seconds. Very pog. Ferocious Sanctuary. Ugh, I hate this level. I'm of the opinion this shouldn't have been an advanced level. I think this is harder than the expert dad bod map, and they're very, very similar. But yeah, I don't know. So this Speedberry is actually one of the harder ones. This is probably like maybe the third hardest, maybe the second hardest. There is a required demo in the route that saves like 8 seconds or something in screen 3. So you need to hit that, or you cannot get to Speedberry. I might be wrong, but I would be pretty surprised if you could manage this. So I believe it's, did I say screen 4? I meant this screen. Whatever the screen this is, I think it's screen 3. But right here, yeah. This sets up from a full jump. You just do a full jump, and you just fall without pressing down or anything, and it gives you a 1-frame window every single time to demo. So you just kind of grind a level until that happens, and then you don't choke. TM. Simply. This wasn't too hard, though. This took me about 3 hours or so, counting practice and stuff. But was it an enjoyable 3 hours? Not really, no. Not a fan. Messed up a neutral there. Yikes. Oh, a funny skip here. You can actually go over the screen here. Doing an upright demo helps a bit, makes it a bit more lenient. You can get over that without neutraling, but whoops, I suck. And next, nice doppelganger. So this is like one of my, actually first I have to explain the skip. So you can desync Battleline here. You can spam up dashes with Battleline, who spawns a bit faster than Battleline can spawn at the start. And you can desync them for the whole room and do a pretty significant skip there. It's not necessary at all for the Speedberry, but it's super cool, so I wanted to do it. But anyway, yeah, casually, this was one of my least favorite levels in the collab. It didn't help, I was playing this like on the original version of the collab, where there are a lot more bugs in this gimmick. Like, for example, if you buffered a action frame 1, Battleline would ignore it, so you would die every single time if you did a hyper from spawn. And so it would just like die, hyper from spawn, die again, and it's just like fury. But after this, I actually IL'd it, and I spent a bit more time with it, and I really like speedrunning this level. This was kind of a crappy showcase, like this is kind of, okay, I IL'd this level for like 2 hours, I just want to get to Speedberry and be done with it for now. But yeah, I highly recommend checking out the IL, it's a lot of fun, really cool level. But casually, eh. Speaking of, one of the most hated levels in a collab, personally, I don't have a huge problem with it. I think Advanced Hub has like 5 levels I can name that I enjoy far less, but I can see why. The hardest part of this gold was just like staying focused, I guess. When I was labbing this, it was just like I would lab for like 10 minutes and I would just get bored and like open Twitter and would just do nothing for like an hour, and I'd be like, okay, I've already forgotten what I do in this screen, I have to go back. But once I finally got like dedicated and sat down and really grinded out stuff, this is one of the easier ones. I think I got this in like 10 or so attempts. Wasn't too hard. But yeah, the routing was by far the hardest part. Again, I forgot to mention this earlier actually, but I try to reference videos as little as possible for this. I had to break that rule for one level, and there were a few cases where it was like I was in the middle of the grind for something, and I would like wonder about a strat, like, oh, does the IL do this? And I would check the IL and I would learn something else, and it's like, oh, well, I have forbidden knowledge now. So, you know, I broke that rule more in this run than the intermediate one, but when I was like baseline grinding levels, it was all me. So yeah, Mural Skies, not too bad. It's hard to break down my route. I actually hella fucked up room 3, but I recovered it. But yeah, a lot going on, hard to explain. Nyoom, I think this level is a fan favorite. I hate it. This level is mad annoying. The only reasons why I died in this level is like just not getting a speed boost from something, like failing a wall bouncer or something, which is like, it's my fault, but it's like not a fun thing to be my fault. Like, it's not a fun thing to mess up. Like, if I don't know, like other things that are like heavy execution, if I mess up, it's like, oh man, that sucks. Like, it's my fault though. Like, I press a button badly. But for this, it's just like, oh, I buffered a jump and I didn't get a vertical speed boost, and now I lose the run. It's just like smiley face, very fun. Like, oh, I buffered a wall bounce here and I didn't get the speed boost from the Cavern. GG, go next. Like, not a fan. But this level really isn't hard. Luckily, it's only 3 screens. The second screen is by far the hardest. The rest of it's not too bad. Didn't take me long, but it was kind of an annoying grind. The correlation, this level, I had the least confidence in my strats, probably. There's probably like way better stuff than I did, and I barely got to Speedberry actually. This is a level I didn't really want to mess with that much. It's got some awkward design all over the place. core dashes. Ugh, gross. But it wasn't too bad. There's a lot of cycles here too. I believe this room is cycle locked again. I did this level pretty early, so I don't remember too much. But I think there's like fireballs at the top of the screen. And if you like fail a neutral or something, it's like, oh boy, what cycle am I going to get? But if you jump early off the conveyor, yeah, up, left, up, yeah, it works out pretty nice. And I kind of stalled that climb too, just to get a nice cycle there. Then this level ends off with a bunch of feathers. Again, this is core dash mechanics, so that's kind of why I'm not doing hypers and stuff everywhere. Which again, I'm not super confident in my route. There's probably a lot of time saved if you like check out someone who knows what they're doing in this level, but this is what I came up with. Oh well. And yeah, 0.1 to spare. Icky, but you know, we take those. I think next up is string, I want to say. Yeah, string. So this is the shortest level. This is the level I did last because I assumed it would be the easiest, and that assumption was pretty much correct. If you play Silverberry and you play it fast, you've got to gold Speedberry here. Not a whole lot to comment on other than that. I actually like this level quite a bit. I would probably do the IL for it, but there's a pretty stupid demo in Screen 3, and I'm not trying to do it. But it's a neat gimmick. It's got some weird visibility issues, which is another thing with Advanced Hub. Why are all the levels so bright? I don't get it. Why it's just like some theme in a hub where all the levels are starry and bright and eye-searing and ugh. And this is actually a level with the opposite problem, where the visibility is like, it's really dark and kind of hard to see. I actually came around to liking this level. It's got some weird stuff. I actually checked out another video after I'd gotten my run, and there's actually a death warp you can do here after the coin, and it sets you down at the bottom with all the switches pressed. It saves a little bit of time, and it gives you a better cycle at the end. But you couldn't do the Silverberry with that, obviously, so, you know, pick your poison. It's up to you. I kind of prefer this, and I ended up with like 4 seconds leniency, but it's pretty cool. Room 3 is pretty easy. Room 4, though, actually before we get there, this entry right here, entering this room really sucks, but if you do that ultra, it works out really nice. And then if you demo into that bubble that you take upright, and then if you stall that upright and then do a demo left, it sets up a pretty consistent demo that saves a lot of time. So it's a pretty cool thing. I don't know if I assume that was known, but you know, pretty neat. You could also demo left of that, to the right of that checkpoint and go straight into the traffic block. If you do a full jump, demo on the way down is a consistent 1-frame window, but it only saved like 2 seconds and it was right at the end of the run, so I was like, screw it, I don't need it. But yeah, that took me a while. I might say this is the second hardest Speedberry, I don't know. This took me the second longest, I think. But it's pretty fun. That level was like alright. I have mixed feelings on it. Toxic Soar, another one I did like 6 months ago. It's a pretty standard jellyfish dream block map, which the collab has dozens of. It's fairly fun though. I might come back and put up a better IL of this. But it's really straightforward. Not a whole lot of different strats. There's that spike jump in room 1 that saves quite a bit, but I don't even think it's required for the goldberry. You can also skip this double jelly juggle. You can like abandon one of the jellies earlier and skip having to juggle it around. If you do a spike jump off of that corner to the left, but don't do it. It's stupid and doesn't save that much. You don't need it. Actually, you might need a spike jump in screen 1, seeing that time difference, but you just grind that and you get through. Caverns, this might be my favorite level. I do want to come back and IL this proper at some point, because I actually labbed this when the collab came out. I actually really enjoyed this level, and I found a ton of really cool strats. And I really wanted to IL it, but I just got busy, never got around to it. I'd like to put up a run with all that stuff, but Speedberry didn't need to do it, and I didn't want to spend that much time on it, so maybe another day. So yeah, to play this level pretty safe. This is one of the more lenient Speedberries, unfortunately. Would have been cool to have been forced to show off some of the harder stuff, but, you know. Something a lot of people don't know, I'll just say it now. A lot of people do know this, like more experienced players, but for falling blocks, if you move away from them or like neutral off of them or jump and down dash off of them, they actually fall faster if Madeline is far away from them, or like they start falling earlier rather. So yeah, that's a big optimization you can do. Fun fact, I remember working on a spring collab task. Whoever made the first draft of this task did not know that. So I saved like 5 seconds or something just utilizing that. It's very funny. Cool skip here. It's pretty easy. You can just up demo and wall jump, and you can keep crouch state, get right through there. This room is actually low gravity, if you couldn't tell. It's actually screen wrap too. It's a core screen wrap low gravity that was in Mobius Temple, or of course core, but you know. But yeah. This is another case of basically make sure I had the last screen solved, and the rest of the level is pretty easy. I actually lost around to sending that final bubble up because I'm an idiot. You want to send it down in screen wrap, but you know, send it up into the spinners instead. Good idea. Dreamy Bluffs. Alright, this was the hardest Speedberry. Maybe, I'd say definitely the hardest Speedberry of any of the hubs. I could talk for like 5 minutes about why this level is really hard. First of all, that upright is kind of precise and annoying. That just sucks and killed a lot of runs, and it's like an intended thing. But first of all, your movement needs to be fairly good, and it's jellyfish movement, which I'm not great at, and it's just generally kind of hard. And second of all, this is where I broke my rule of like not consulting other videos, because I was like, am I missing something? And it turns out that pretty much no matter how you route this, you need to do at least 2 spike jumps off of spinners. So yeah, that really sucks. This level is long and hard, and you need to do 2 spike jumps. So welcome to the most involved screen right here, where I actually use a pause buffer strat to set up 2 spike jumps. So you hit the spring, you pause buffer to a certain pixel, you release left, and then you spike jump and you set up all of this. That last spike jump actually has no setup, but like that grab onto the ceiling underneath the spinner does have a setup, and it's consistent. So it's just a matter of getting into that position and setting up this final spike jump. I think I got that about 5 or 6 times, and I didn't finish out the run, which really sucks. But yeah, it's really hard. This took me about 6 hours, 6.5 hours. I experimented with a lot of routes, and this is ultimately what I settled on. And you have to end with this kind of stressful ultra into the jelly. Luckily, I got that first time I got there. And yeah, I made that by a second. With fairly decent movement, like you can obviously do better and play riskier. But 2 spike jumps that are quite hard and quite dumb. So yeah, not sure what was going on with timing that level, but yikes. So this is the only level that I split the Speedberry and the Silverberry. Unlike the last video, I'm going to commentate both because there wasn't a point in just having one uncommentated. You know, whatever, I'll just talk over it. But this level is quite broken. If you hit the top of that spring, you can just up dash, and then there's a 1 frame demo you can do here. I'm actually told you can screen transition downwards and have a super consistent bufferable 1 frame demo. I'm an idiot, and I didn't know that when I was routing it on my own, so I did that demo. It's still a 1 frame. It's fairly consistent. Like, as consistent as 1 frame is, you just kind of hit it and then do the rest of the level. This is pretty easy. This level is completely impossible to do both the silver and gold Speedberry, as you can probably tell. I made that by 2 seconds with, like, massive death warps. So it's time for the Silverberry, and yuck. This level, I hate this level. I am just glad that it was not like a harder level, like a harder difficulty level, because this gimmick sucks. Especially with layered bubbles. I don't know who finds layered bubbles fun, but I'm not one of those people. So the main problem with layered bubbles and these purple bubbles, if you don't know the gimmick of this level, is the purple bubbles, if you don't fast bubble them, they kill you, like on the spot. So if you combine that with layered bubbles, it becomes super ambiguous, like what bubble you're in. So you run into a bunch of like ambiguous situations where it's like you press dash thinking you're in a purple bubble, but you're actually in the green bubble directly before it, and now you're in a purple bubble and you don't fast bubble and you die. It's just like, why? So the only noteworthy strat to say here is that there's actually a pixel lineup, like there's a range of pixels you can do there, but you just stand there and you do a full jump neutral hyper and it lines you up into that gap every single time. Kind of cool, I guess, you know, whatever. But yeah, the rest of this is very casual, we'll just get through it. But my last 2 runs right here at the end, because I suck. I really suck. But, you know, not too bad. I feel like I say that a lot, not too bad, but the only level that was too bad was Dreamy Bluffs. God, that was hard. And Crumbling Castle. Yay! Fun level. There's not a whole lot to say about this. This is kind of just a troll level. It's dashless throughout. It is obnoxious on purpose because, you know, why not? This was the first level I did. May not be surprising when I'm like, oh, the levels I didn't really enjoy casually are the levels I'm going to tackle first. So yeah. Granting this had some interesting stuff. I actually worked on the tasks a little bit, or knew some stuff about the tasks, so I knew some tricks. There's actually a death warp you can do here, but this level is mad lenient for the goldberry, so there's no point in splitting up the gold and the silver speedberry. Just do them both at once. Why not? Because, like, if I do a silverberry clear, it's probably going to be fast enough for the gold trial anyway, so why not? Just 2 birds, 1 stone. The main cool strat I did for this is completely unnecessary, by the way, and you can make this early cycle, but it killed me like 3 runs in a row, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just walking and waiting for a cycle from now on. But you can break this crumble block, and then crouch jump in there, and you can skip the coins here. You can make an earlier cycle than that, but it's really hard and annoying, so but yeah, that saves a few seconds. Yay for puzzles. I think I actually beef one of them, maybe. I can't remember. But yeah, the screen's pretty straightforward. This level is just too long. It's longer than 5 screens, which is annoying, because most levels are exactly 5 screens or less. But yeah, walkathon, go into bubble. This bubble is a little bit faster on average, very pog, for me at least. You can actually go on that block way earlier, like you can go before it's even fully visible, but... Oh yeah, and if you crouch jump into this bubble, it puts you right up into this blue bubble right here. Saves like a 1.5 seconds or something. Pretty cool. Kind of a finicky skip here. Coyote jump there. Barely makes it. Not sure what the frame window is on that. Oh yeah, I beefed this puzzle. Whoops, I suck. But you want to get this top one, wait a bit on this one. There's a faster way of doing this, but it was the easiest way I found. And hey, Dashless Seekers, fun idea. Very fun. The screen's kind of wicked though. So there's this heart you can bounce on, and it saves actually like 0.5 seconds, unironically. And it leads to a really nice cycle here. This is super consistent. Do all that, and you win. All that's left is the heart side. Luckily, Heartside was one of my most hated levels casually, the Advanced Heartside, mostly because it's 4 flags for whatever reason. I do not understand why this level is 4 flags. I do not get it. Because it's one of the longer hubs, and it was given the least amount of flags of any Heartside. Like, why? Why? And this also ends, flag 3 ends with the Super Dash section. And it's like, you play a 30-second screen, and then suddenly you have to remember how Super Dash physics work. And when I was playing casually, I had to quit out of the level and like play the Super Dash level again to remember how it controlled. Because it was like either that or play the screen again for 30 or 40 seconds to have one shot at it. So yeah. But in a speedrun, this level, mad fun actually. So that up left bubble, you actually want to hold jump in the bubble, and it reduces your gravity after hitting the ceiling, and it lets you skip having to ride those moving blocks, and it saves like 1 second. Really cool. The tests actually didn't have that. It saved 1 second in tests. Pretty funny. But yeah, this level is really fun in a speedrun. This Speedberry is actually pretty tight. I actually got one clear of this that misses Speedberry by like half a second, but I made a pretty big mistake early on that I should have just reset. But yeah, this is one of the harder in terms of time Speedberries for a heart sign. But I didn't mind it. Again, pretty fun. Just a nice level to go fast in. It flows very well. The exception is probably Flag 2. Flag 2 is the hardest part of this level by far, in my opinion. Early Flag 2 especially. This Doppelganger section is kind of awkward. The way I did it is I just didn't worry about Madeline at all. I just watched Madeline and focused on the feather movement, and just, you know, Madeline would usually live. Best of luck. But yeah, the start core section has some visibility problems. This also had some FPS problems. Advanced Hub as a whole had some pretty huge screens that I had some performance issues in. I kind of resolved them, but yeah, it's kind of annoying. Flag 1, pretty stressful, but we're nearing the end of this. Again, despite being I think having more levels than Intermediate Hub, ended up being a shorter video. For all that, this grind was, I'm happy to be done with it, but I wouldn't call it like frustrating or anything. It was definitely more frustrating than any of the hubs so far, but I'm looking forward to Expert. Really like that hub a lot. Neat jellyfish skip here, by the way. This doesn't save a lot of time. In fact, it might have been even slower doing it intended way than I did it in this run, but I just did it because it's cool and it's cozy, so there you go. That jelly skip's pretty free though. I actually did that casually. But yeah, that pretty much concludes this. Don't have a whole lot more to say. Look out for Expert coming soon. Yeah. Wasn't too bad. Again, 35 hours. And I will start Expert pretty much as soon as possible. Keep it rolling, see how far I can get. I don't know about GM, but we'll see. But yeah, thanks for watching. And I hope you enjoyed.